Play it?
Yep. All right. Welcome to another Lucius Live. You never knew there was structural ribbon, did you?
I didn't know that, no.
I knew we had to open with that one when I saw it. How you doing, Luke? Welcome back. We had like a skip week there. You were busy doing a promotion.
Yeah.
And I was busy elsewhere. But welcome back. How you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you, Lucius?
Doing good, man.
I'm just over the world. In fact, you know what? I'm lying, Lucius. I'm not great because somebody died.
That's true. We lost. It's end of an era. This is
so.
nearly a century of life the Queen had since World War II. I mean, she's been a holdover for the British people.
Longest bloody time.
Yeah, and let's see here. I had some stuff pulled up here. So, how do you feel about it, man? Like,
to be honest,
doesn't really mean a whole lot to me, but at the same time, it's kind of like I really do feel like it's end of an era. Like she is kind of like the last standing piece of cultural significance, I think, for Britain, which is wildly transformed. They used to have a quarter of like the known world under their rule.
Yeah.
And I guess the only thing that was like a major piece of tourism and culture that people cared about is Buckingham Palace, the royal family, whether you like them or not. It was a big deal. It was a major moneymaker. And, the latest, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, they shucked it off and said it's not good enough for us. Yeah. And surprisingly, I talked to you about this as being like a talking point. I never actually listened to it, but apparently Meghan Markle is like tearing up the podcast world. I just happened to see it was like charting. Like I went on some app and it's like
she thinks she's turning up the podcast world.
I don't know. It's apparently a big deal, and it's just like, oh, I felt underrepresented my whole life, and all this. And it's like, bitch, you are like married to royal, like you're living the dream. You married a prince. You were a TV actress, and now she's hosting like the most popular podcast. It's like you are not suffering in any means, by any stretch of the definition. And I think she had one of the Williams sisters as her first guest, Venus or Serena. I don't know which one. And like they were just like both talking about how hard it was. It's like, you're so kidding me, right?
Rich. Yeah.
Yeah, you're kidding me. Like I'm sure you had to work for what you have, but don't, please. Like no one held you back.
Yeah.
Hard to believe that was the story, but I didn't listen to it. I don't know, but that's the latest on them. And that's who's next, is somebody who's gonna talk shit about royalty and tear the place down.
All right. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe all the Muslims just need to take over Britain and make it the new caliphate.
They very well might, because next in line is this guy right here.
Well, they've already named him king. He's already king. 73
years old.
That's because his mother wouldn't retire like her mother did.
Well, might be for good reason. I can't. I never got the feeling this guy was gonna quite live up and live up to the stiff upper lip British style of things.
Really? What makes you say that?
He's kind of welcomed in all the multiculturalism, Muslim stuff, everything. Like he's pretty much been like, leaving the door wide open. It's like at the sacrifice of his own culture, letting other things take precedent over it. Yeah, it really does feel like the end of things for British culture
and for the world in general. Yeah.
And it's just kind of ironic because I was going to talk about the House of Dragons, which has had 2 more episodes from the one I saw, and I also watched Rings of Power.
Yes. Well, which one do you want to talk about first, Lucius? Because I've not even bothered to watch either of those because I'm not going to give them.
You know, I have a controversial take on Rings of Power, so
Okay,
we'll start with that.
it.
Plus, it would be a fresh topic for it. My controversial take is it's not that bad. It's
Really?
not that bad. You do have to turn off, like, I mean, it challenges your whole notion of hereditary genes and everything. Like,
Oh, okay.
so they have, this is in the appendices. It's the age before Lord of the Rings. Is all this stuff is taking place, and I'm guessing it's centered around them making the rings. And so instead of hobbits, they have what's called Harfoots, and it's pretty much like all the Harfoots tribe is white except for like the leadership and the seeming mother of like the white Harfoot child that's taking care of. I think it's Gandalf, but it's not confirmed. Guy falls from the sky at the end of the first episode, and I just assumed it was him. I looked it up online, and like they're just like could be another wizard, but
well,
people believe it was him.
There was four wizards.
Yeah. So it could be another one. I honestly don't know. I'm not big on the books, so whatever heresies they're pulling on the actual literature, I'm not going to be able to call it out. But just for the wokeism, basically, if it's a significant role in the book or in the show, flip a coin. That's the odds that it's going to be like a minority representation, even if it doesn't make sense. Like the family itself isn't, or the people. Like you'll watch an entire, like they go into the dwarf mines. It's completely populated. And it's just like nothing but, European ethnic dwarves, if you could call it that,
Yeah.
And then you get to the prince's home. This elf is going down there to try to broker a deal with the prince he knew, but it's been 20 years and they're at odds. And then he meets his wife, and the wife is the one that you've seen in the commercials. I actually have a picture of her here. I'll share.
I know the one you're talking about.
Here we go. This lovely lady right here.
Yeah. Oh Lord, them rhymes.
And like I don't know whether they got actual dwarves or anything. It's hard for me to tell whether it's just CG trickery or like legitimately casting foreshortened peoples. But she looks strange. Like she just looks strikingly strange. Beyond like the complexion, it's just like she has a weird look about her. Her style doesn't fit in. Like it's just like completely at odds with the rest of the surroundings. All this kind of Celtic stuff, and like she's kind of like an African theme stuff. Like it just doesn't make sense. You have to turn your mind off from that. But beyond that, the storytelling, the acting, the production quality, it's kind of there, but you will have to just basically turn off that part of your head that is like constantly at odds, even if you're not like turned off by the fact that they did this, that they shoved it in there, that they would call out any sort of swapping of ethnicities on any other character in one of their series or whatever. Yeah, it wasn't that bad, all in all.
All right.
Yeah.
Except for this bit.
It was kind of short. She didn't do anything really important. I mean, so much of the show is still to go. I'm kind of I'm guessing largely centered on Galadriel, although there's all sorts of stuff going on. Like it's kind of like things are in motion. This Middle Earth that is kind of at peace is having turmoil sprout up in several places and stuff. So, it's leading all to Sauron, and the war with the orcs and everything. But yeah, it was pretty good. And then
apparently, one of the characters is gay. Apparently,
one of them is gay. I'm trying to think which one it would be. I mean, there's several that come off, kind of like a little bit fairy-like, but man, I'm trying to think who it would be. It's not. Nobody immediate comes to mind.
I forget the name, but they were like, "Oh yeah, he's totally gay."
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. And if even if it wasn't true, and like I said, I haven't read that far into it. I barely. I think I read through Fellowship and Two Towers, and I didn't have the patience to go through Return of the King, reading it, and that was even like skimming parts when it got to like poems and shit like that. I was like, okay, just let's get to the point.
Yeah.
And this show kind of skips over that, where like I think the movies might have taken a little time with like a element like that. This show really doesn't waste or focus on that sort of
kind of rushes through things.
It's more about action, you know, like it doesn't really focus on the I guess cultural or poetic or whatever significance. And it's also kind of ironic too that they did this shoehorning of minorities into the show when like literally in the episodes they're talking about like elves and dwarves can't really mix. Harfoots have to hide from the humans and all the rest. Like it's like really like flagging the fact that like separate races cannot really commingle, cohabitat the same environment peacefully. And then House of Dragons kind of picked it up. I thought the first episode was kind of like watching the boring part of Phantom Menace, like trades and things. Like it's all just dressing for everything to come. Like at the climax of the first episode is that the little girl that's in all the promo material and everything is made the next heir to the throne, and it's like, wow, that really just floored me. And then after that, it's basically the whole show is supposed to basically cover the Targaryen dynasty tearing itself apart to establish a true heir to the throne. Essentially, the king sucks as king. His wife dies in labor. He has a son for like a day, and then his only remaining child is a daughter. And then people are trying to move their way into being the next, who like marry him to another queen, have more children, and actually have a son that would become king. But he's adamant that no, his daughter is named the next in line, and she will be the next in line. And this is basically just going to follow how all that unfolds and how there's just multiple people vying for the throne and all this shit. Because like you'll see multiple of the Valerians, Targaryen or not, like they have dragons. Like there's dragons all over the place in this, and you're like, man, where did all these go? And I just did like a quick Wikipedia search, and it's just like, oh, basically everyone's going to kill each other in this show. By the end, we have only one. One is standing at the end. So
we talked about this 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah. I don't remember what I said, just because like I was even talking about it with a friend, and he's like, yeah, you know, it was pretty good, pretty decent. He's like, I don't remember the first Game of Thrones being all that interesting. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, we have set up like a plot to kill the king, and literally incest between the queen and her guard, and plus her
How
twin
can it be
brother.
incest if it's just the god?
Well, twin brother Jaime and Cersei, and then at the very end, the son of the new hand of the king gets pushed out of a window for seeing them fuck each other. Like it's just like, how could it not be like what happens next? Sort of thing.
Are more people going to get pushed out of windows? I would think so.
More intrigue, yeah, for sure, and plotting assassinations and things like that. I think the first season of Game of Thrones was really on point. It's the closest to the book series. Definitely has, I think, the best actors and the whole thing and everything. It only kind of goes downhill from there, but I think most people would say Red Wedding's the peak, and after that it drops off, and that's really the only thing those showrunners were like looking forward to when they were making it. But yeah, the House of Dragons just seems largely uninspired.
You just said it was good, though. Was
Well,
that
it got better. I'll say it got
okay?
much better. Basically, like they actually had like a war going on. They time skip a bunch. They don't really waste your time plotting along. Like it's 6 months between episode 1, episode 2, then 3 years between episode 2, episode 3. Like and they're covering like a whole maritime war going on in that time. Uh, and I don't know. It's a lot better than what the first episode was, but I hadn't even watched the intro to the show until this previous 2 episodes I watched in a row,
Hmm.
and like they have the same Game of Thrones music, and it's just like blood pouring through all these like reservoirs, and I'm just like, what is this all about? Because the Game of Thrones opening and the show really kind of gave you an idea of what the world was and
Yeah.
where everything was and where people were moving, who was stationed where. And in this, there's no sense of that at all. It's just, oh, blood pours into this, and the Targaryen uh, motto is fire and blood, like that's their saying. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that ties in a bit, but it doesn't really give me any more context to the show. Like it's not as inspired as the Game of Thrones series
It's the
was.
original where it was all
Yeah.
clockwork and there were like
Yeah.
castles and it
Plus,
kind of like
they don't do the fan service stuff. Like they have a warning about brief nudity for the show. I have yet to see any skin, man. Like they're
well
playing it very
maybe you
conservative
just
for
well maybe
HBO.
that's how they roll now. It's like just make them think there's going to be something risque and then just omit it.
I don't know. They HBO's turned on their usual thing. I mean, it was like a staple of their main series to have
Sex and
like
nudity.
titties showing up. Sopranos, they had the strip club. Rome, they had all the hookers and everything.
And the pimps.
Did they? They
I
probably
don't
did.
know. I'm just making that up. I'm
Game
sure
of
they
Thrones.
I'm sure there was some Roman pimps and they were all decked out in like fine feathered hats.
Game of Thrones had their stuff too, and like even the actresses in the shows like showed, chest. And so far, it's been like nothing. And at the end of Game of Thrones, like they're doing all this like dick showing, and it was just like, okay, this is like Me Too is going on. So they were trying to, I think, make up for.
They're trying to make sure that they wouldn't get cancelled by the mob of toxic females, basically.
Well, you'll be equal opportunity, I guess. And it's just like, who who would sign up to like just look at. I don't know who would look at dicks. Like that's what we all want to. That's what I want to watch when I turn on my shows. Like it's just not a. It's not a draw. Like I don't even think for ladies, it's much of a draw, or heterosexual women at least. Like they're into like the Adonis types, but not
all,
like nudity.
All heterosexual women want to look at dicks.
You think so?
Yeah. Why not?
Hey, I know what you want to see, lady.
You want to see this?
So yeah, that's where I stand on the shows. And
Okay.
I'm not really paying to see them. I don't think I would pay to see them.
Yeah. All right, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good to know. Because if you did, I'd be very disappointed in you, Lucius.
No, I told you I canceled my Amazon Prime just because I wasn't using it really that much at all. Like I looked at like what I was doing with it, and I'm like, why am I paying $100 for this a year? This is crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't.
Unless you're constantly ordering things from there, I don't really see the point.
Yeah, but I was getting annoyed because even when they said, "Oh yeah, 2-day shipping," it was like 1 week it was taking to get to me. So like, well, I'm gonna stop paying for this if it's not gonna arrive. But yeah, that's
amazing. That was an amazing rundown. Now I know where your positions lie in regards to shows, what your political positions are.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Just so I'm saving you time, man.
You're saving me time? Well, I appreciate it, Lucius. Considering I was never going to watch these fucking things in the first place. So, thanks, I guess.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Is that what you wanted? You were trying to force a empty platitude of gratitude out of me? I'm
Yes.
joking. I am joking. You're not doing that at all. All right. Well, that's cool. I think from what I've heard, Rings of Power just sounds like dog shit. It just doesn't make any sense, and it's the usual garbled metaphors. And I don't know why they're doing what was the other one? House of the Dragon. I don't know why they're doing that. It's like, I mean, they didn't even end the first Game of Thrones properly, you know?
Well, that's why I think they wanted to like almost start up immediately, and they didn't because the reaction from people towards the last season of Game of Thrones was so bad.
Yeah,
They're like,
because it
yeah,
was
we
a
can't
bad
justify
finale.
this.
Yeah,
We can't justify this, and it felt good to see like at least there's some like there's some debt that they have for what like for fucking this up royal
yeah.
because it was a lot of time too. I felt like between those last 3 seasons of the show, and they shortened up the episodes. They just crammed shit in there and just like got as much done as they could as fast as they could. And a lot of people were like, even I think George R. R. Martin was like disappointed because it's his cash cow, and he's like, "What the fuck, you guys? There's enough material there to go on for like 10 seasons. What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the actors too are signed on for contracts that long.
Oh, they were. Or they weren't.
Seasons. They were, yeah. Like it was like all pending, like because nobody really knew just how long their characters would last. But it was like a stipulation that up to 10 seasons or something like that they could be signed up for. And as much as like they might hate doing it, I'm sure like they hated filming like the Long Night where they fight the Night King's army and all that shit, because it's all filmed overnight for like weeks. It's like like there's no promise of a better gig than what you got right now. Like as much as you might want to do other projects, this is gonna like
for the house
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You'll be set for life off the show.
Yeah.
And like it's a big like where are they now? Like what happened to all those people? Some of them like were in movies kind of right after following, but what else have they been in since then?
A bunch of stuff. Kit Harington's done some stuff.
I don't know where. I remember seeing him in like some kind of.
He was in that Marvel movie.
Was he? I remember the girl that was Sansa Stark. She was Jean Grey in the X-Men series. I don't think I watched that movie though. The Dark Phoenix, or I don't even know what it was called. I didn't care to see it.
Yeah, that's what it was called, Dark Phoenix.
Yeah. I was
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. And Emilia Clarke was in the Terminator movie.
And she did the Mothers of Madness comic.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
And apparently she's got so much brain damage, she's surprised she's still talking.
Brain damage from what?
I'm trying to remember. I think it was like a blood clot. It was like some rare disease.
That sucks.
And she like lost like 25% of her brain or function of her brain, I think.
But she can probably still act.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty amazing. Unless of course she's like going for some kind of pity play, maybe. I don't know. I can't make that call. She could be completely telling the truth.
So any thing new in your arena? No, I know you don't want to go over your promotion. You done
go over what, Lucius? I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I will. No, I mean, not much that I can really say. Yeah, nothing I can really say. Let's talk about. I mean, I'm I'm trying to think.
Are you a
I, mean,
football fan?
I am not. No.
I wouldn't take you for it. Right now, we're going up against, I think, the first night of football.
Oh, there you go. There you
Rams and the
go.
Bills.
Oh. So are we talking rugby league, or are we talking?
Yes, yes.
Are we talking
Australian
American?
rules, rugby league,
Are we talking American football?
American football, man.
Okay,
The one where they only kick it like
once,
maybe for a
once
minute in total.
once in the entire game. The
Yeah,
rest they're just holding. It's hand egg. It's a game of hand egg.
I think that would be a better name.
Yeah,
They
doesn't
should,
sound as cool.
they should rebrand Hand Egg.
What could you recall it? Rename it? I mean, because like in Europe, soccer is called football, which makes sense because you're using your foot to kick the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't touch it with any other. Can't touch it with your hands. So I guess handball,
Yeah, but I think that's its own game too.
run ball, runnable.
I like Hand Egg. I like Hand Egg.
Mm. How
It's
about
not as if they're inventive names anyway for the sports.
how about tackle sport? I don't know.
I'd probably get some views. Yeah.
Yeah. Stripper ball.
Oh, that would be. I would turn on that.
Yeah. There is female football. They all wear like skimpy outfits.
Hmm.
What?
Yeah, I just don't know that I care to watch like girls hit each other necessarily. Like I don't know, that doesn't really do it for me. Like if it was like a very
It was like a cat fight.
yeah, like very obviously like mud wrestling for the pure like show of it. That would be something I'd be in for, but not like legit like taking each other out
Oh,
style of stuff. I don't know that I'd care to watch that.
okay. Well, I guess you just don't know how to live.
I guess not. I guess not.
There's nothing hotter than watching a couple of hot babes beating the shit out of each other.
Now,
It's like the minute I said that, I was like, "That's ridiculous."
were you ever a visitor of Kiwi Farms? Did you ever?
Oh, yes, Lucius, but not in the way you would imagine.
How do you feel if Kiwi Farms is gone? And not only is it gone, it's so gone. It's not even on the internet Wayback Machine. They
Wow.
took it off.
You
the
know
archives.
what? I am so glad Kiwi Farms is gone. You want to know why?
Tell me why.
I'll say this. I wish 4chan would go the same way as Kiwi Farms real quick. Because they've been a couple of threads on Kiwi Farms that have been exclusively about dragging me and the trolling that I've done, and yeah, I shed no tears for the death of Kiwi Farms.
So you're not gonna pour 40 out?
No, in fact, I'm gonna dance a little jig, Lucius, after we're done with this stream. We're gonna dance me a little jig. But why? What are your thoughts on Kiwi Farms, Lucius?
I never really. I think I went there, but I found the format like impossible to really get through. I like you go somewhere like and essentially it's like impossible to navigate or hard to navigate. I forget. I did it on my phone. I was just like, fuck this. I'm just out.
How is it hard to navigate? It seems pretty.
I don't remember. I remember trying to look into something that was like, oh yeah, this happened on Kiwi Farms, and then I was just like, what the fuck am I looking at here? How is this formatted? Like maybe it was comment section or discussion or something. I just dude, I just never really went to it, and I didn't really also care to like get too deep on like drama like that.
Yeah.
It's very much like circling the drain. I think like you go there and like these people just add to each other's misery. It seems like, and I'm just like, not for me, not really for me. Like I'm curious to know some of the backstory on some things. Like when people bring something up and you're like, well, what was that about? and it's like, well, go to Kiwi Farms and you'll see the whole thread of it. And it's like,
That's
okay,
not an accurate way to be caught up on something because it's from
yeah.
other
So
people who don't know as much, which is the exact same problem with 4chan. It's just a bunch of retards going on the thing, starting rumors, creating a paper trail, and trying to ruin people's reputation. Which
so
I mean, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Keffels on this, but it's absolutely true. It's like they're absolute hotbeds of toxic bullshittery, and I'm glad that one of them got nuked. So, good work. Good
well,
work, Keffels.
it may get there eventually, man.
I mean, eventually, I think what's going to happen eventually is that in order for you to access social media, you're going to have proof that you're an adult, like a driver's license or something.
I kind of think they're going to have like government issue. Like if they at this point they probably track everything you do on your
Yeah,
phone, but if you don't have a phone, they'll issue you a phone, and that will be kind of like how they track you around in
yeah,
general. And that'll sort of be, I think, the Black Mirror dystopia we're sort of heading into. Like you don't have a way to opt out of being tracked. You have a way of getting rid of a QR code that follows you around wherever you go.
yeah.
That would be kind of the sticking point. And more people will go along with it just because it's like, well, with this you'll be able to
I don't
do
know.
XYZ.
I don't know. I think America is such a unique place. I think they wouldn't allow that. There would be
You'd
people who
think
would.
you'd like to think so.
Mm,
I'm after the events of 2020. I'm less sure about what people will put up with and won't put up with, and what they won't just cheer along with as they get shackled. So hard to say.
yeah.
Who knows? But that's one of my back of my head predictions that they'll do. Just kind of hand that out.
Okay.
Anything you're excited about coming up? Anything
Black Adam.
Black Adam? When's that
Yeah.
coming out?
October. So I guess next month.
Do
Yeah.
you think the Rock will be the Rock in this, or do you think he will be Black Adam?
Yes. I mean, like
All the above.
he's a good actor, and they released another trailer. I think it was today. I
Hmm.
just saw it and it looked pretty good. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch this. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I haven't watched a movie in a long time, so this will be an interesting treat, I guess.
I kind of feel like movies are sort of making a comeback. I just hope that they have more original stuff rather than just remakes of the old
Yeah,
stuff we're used to, and recasting and writing the miscast of Eeyore.
yeah. No, I agree.
Um,
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this is the dying days of cinema, and everything's just going to be piped into our computer screens
like,
from
did you
now on.
see the Northman?
No, I didn't.
I'd say it's pretty good. It's definitely not like a. It's more Shakespearean kind of thing than like a wartime. It's like focusing on his own struggle of being cast out. I mean, and like it's pretty much like what Macbeth, I think they said,
Yeah,
like is modeled
yeah,
after
yeah.
the story.
And it has
And
Bjork in it. Bjork's in it.
is she?
Yeah,
I don't
she
remember
plays the
seeing.
witch. She plays the witch.
Oh, okay. Um, but it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it, even though I mean it's if you're in it to see like tons of action, it's not really about that. It's more about the drama of it all.
Yeah,
Uh, but I'm kind of surprised too at the pipeline movies are on now, because that was released I think in April or March of this year, and it was like I watched that on the Peacock app like in June or something like that. Like I was
wow.
just like, damn, like there's like no wait at all to watching movies in your home anymore. Um, so yeah, if you have access to that, I definitely recommend it as a watch. It's like 3 hours though, so
Oh,
set some time
yeah.
aside.
Well, forget it then. I'm not gonna watch it. Fuck it.
Now you can bake a couple potatoes in that amount of time, you know.
Yeah, at least two. But yeah,
Beyond that,
Black Adam. Looking forward to it. So, I don't know. Is that it? Did we peak too early? There's got to be something we can talk about.
Well, I thought I'd have more to say about the Rings of Power and everything, but not really, man. Like I said, I think it was, if you can ignore the shoehorning of minorities into roles, like they seem
Which,
out of place just in sheer number,
yeah,
sheer 99 actors on the screen and one of them's black, but they're all supposed to be of the same peoples, like how does this come to be? um it's just like it's in the face of like genetics.
I
And
guess because black people are the same peoples as white peoples. Maybe that's
that
what they're trying to
is
say.
kind of the message I think they're going for.
Yeah.
Is that everyone's interchangeable. It's like I don't even think they're on board with that message for themselves, like, and their own content. Like this is the thing they're constantly putting out there.
Yeah.
um but that's its own like rabbit hole to go down and dissect their messaging and their values versus what they're willing to take apart on other things. But I don't know. I'm not like a Tolkien nerd. I'm not um, hardcore about that sort of thing. But it is kind of ridiculous. I remember there being controversy about Idris Elba being Heimdall in Thor. I was like, I actually like Idris Elba as an actor, and I dig the Luther series. Did you ever see that, the BBC
No, I
series?
didn't. No.
It's really good. At least the first two seasons. It kind of gets a little bit into ridiculous territory, I think, after that. But just him as like a detective, and he's looking into these like really hardcore criminal cases, serial killers and murderers and the like. And it's like the BBC series. It's like 6 episodes. They're like hour long, 40 minutes, hour long. So it's not as if it's like a huge time commitment to watch through them, which I kind
Mm.
of liked. But I saw him in that, and I dig that show, and I was like, oh shit, he's gonna be Heimdall, and I was just like, I don't know, I didn't have any high value on the Marvel movies. I was like, this isn't like the true Norse mythology or anything. This is like comic book popcorn theater variety of it. So it didn't really offend me, but I know like some people are like, this is uh mixing the culture around with elements that don't belong or whatever. And I was like, whatever, it's just a fucking movie. And now it's like literally like half the main character cast is just like replaced. And like I remember there being this huge kerfuffle of like the Avatar, the Last Airbender fans, like when they made the M. Night Shyamalan movie, and they had that kid that was some white kid playing Aang, and
Oh
like
yeah.
they were like, oh, they forgot to mention race bending as well, like
Yeah.
and their commentary about it. And the show creators even were like shitting on the movie, and
I
they
remember
were
that.
yeah, and they were annoyed that like they cast the Fire Nation guys. I don't know if it was like the entire
As
Fire Nation.
Indians. No,
Yeah.
it was the entire Fire Nation. It didn't
Okay.
make
Okay.
any
Yeah, but
sense.
it's like you do know like the character Zuko and the story is like kind of like the actual main character in a way. Like he's like the Darth Vader. Like in Star Wars, Darth Vader becomes the main character. It's all about his turn. It's all about Zuko's turn. Like he's the villain turned hero. Like he's the one that has the arc. Uh, Aang is the protagonist to start out with, and it's about him fulfilling his destiny. But like it's really, if there was like a core character that has like a growth moment, that's that character. So it's kind of like, okay, you're kind of missing it. And I kind of think most of the time, especially when it comes to the superhero or comic movies or whatever, that the villains are usually the ones with like the more interesting angle as it stands anyway, as characters.
Because they're broken people? Or?
Well, they usually have like a philosophy. There is that aspect. Yeah, they are kind of broken in a sense, but like a hero is very straightforward.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Whereas like a villain has some kind of conflict or some kind of overarching thing that makes them a little more interesting than just I'm here just to stick to like
Being,
the
being evil.
morals. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's usually not even that pure. You know, like I guess the closest maybe they get to like a pure evil is maybe like Joker and Dark Knight, but even he's like more like an element of chaos than necessarily evil. You know,
Embrace chaos. Ah.
you know, and there's some things like I didn't buy about his whole shtick either. Like, and I think that was part of the character when he's like, "Do I look like a guy that has a plan?" It's like, well, everything
Yeah.
you're doing is very orchestrated. So yeah,
Yeah.
you look like a guy with a plan.
Yeah.
But he was all about, you know, setting up the board and knocking some dominoes over to see the whole board like fall over kind of thing. Like
Mm.
there was an element of him that was attracted to that. And there wasn't like a great payoff in the end. It was just more about I'd rather watch he was Nero. He'd rather watch the city burn than
Mm.
just get ahead in his own life.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
So if you cast as a villain, you know, take it as an opportunity. I don't know. I just I found that shit just annoying to like sit through, and I
Mm.
wasn't even sure how many kids knew English well enough and had the skills to do all the like martial arts and shit that were needed to pull off that film. You know,
And be a good actor to
right,
boot. Yeah.
right. So it's kind of like whoever you can get to fill the role, and somewhat resembles your main character and all that. Uh, that's like kind of like you can't really fault them for like, yeah, we're kind of left with this one person, and maybe it wasn't the person they had in mind, but I, I don't know. Like I even watching Last Airbender is like, you know, that could be a white kid. I don't know. They never make it
Well,
explicit what the ethnicities
not
are.
if not if the other two characters that they cast for Kiara and her brother, right? They were both white actors that they just kind of like tanned up a little bit.
Mm, mm,
Then that's
gotcha, gotcha.
weird. That's kind of like blackface. That is kind of like blackface actually, because they're not. They're like a specific type of Asian. You know, the Eskimo Asian. But whatever.
Again, that's another like kind of hard cast to make casting call to make. I don't know. Maybe they're sitting in Hollywood somewhere and just like, what the fuck? Why did they pass me up? But
That's
I'm not
probably what
sure.
happened. They probably like auditioned and like crushed the audition, and then the executives were like, "Well, I mean, we could hire them, but there's this cute 16-year-old that I want to have sex with when she becomes legal." So it is Nickelodeon after all, so they probably had that conversation.
Uh-oh.
Do you want to hear more about it, Lucius?
You have Nickelodeon scandal stories to share?
You want to know something really funny?
Sure.
There's a guy named, I think his name is. Oh, let me look it up. I think it's just Justin something. Justin Smith? Justin Riley?
Justin Riley. What about Justin Riley?
Uh, um, Wait, hold on. He was someone who worked at Nickelodeon, and he got busted on To Catch a Predator.
Oh god.
But that wasn't his only crime. He actually uh he would lure kids into the Nickelodeon animation studios,
Oh
like on the
god.
pretense of like, hey, I work at Nickelodeon. You want to come check it out? I'll give you a tour, right? But you can get, and it would be like on Saturdays and Sundays when no one was like working there.
Oh
Everyone
no.
was, yeah.
This is like R. Kelly vibes coming off.
No, it's worse because he would take them there and do terrible things there. But I guess what I found out the other day.
I don't know what. Where's this leading now?
So you know my whole lore, how I got uh, my short got cancelled at Nickelodeon around beginning of 2018 and end of
I
2017.
yeah.
So I found out, so like that happened, right? I got canceled because apparently I was some sexual criminal or something, or whatever. You know, they threw the kitchen sink at me. I'm misogynist, Nazi, blah 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 blah. So anyway, that happened, and I got excommunicated. And so they wrote that open letter to all the studios they distributed, telling them to put an end to sexual harassment
Hmm.
of women. A year after that, the beginning of 2019, guess who they hired back at Nickelodeon?
Not the same dude, not Justin.
Yes, the same dude,
Jeez.
Justin. And then Janet
Oh.
McCurdy just brought out her book talking about all the shit going down at Nickelodeon, as well as other child star actors, saying that Nickelodeon like offered to pay them off not to talk about specific producers. And I'm just like, wow, I think I know where Hollywood's priorities are.
Dude, I'm wondering how many like child actors have been preyed upon. Like, I
Not
feel
even
like it's
that.
like,
It's oh yeah, probably like look. I think there's a rot inside Hollywood right now,
oh, absolutely.
and it's got to do with a certain CP ring that distributes. And yeah, I think the day Hollywood's day of reckoning is fast approaching. Before this fourth turning occurs. So
Can only hope, man. Can only hope.
yeah.
Uh, anyways, man, I'm kind of out of shit to talk about. What about you?
Wow, I talked about a thing. We'll talk about more things.
Like what? What do you got? What other things you
Uh,
got in your tool
Black
belt?
Adam.
Black Adam, yeah. What
Uh,
about Black Adam?
it's
Are,
really
are you
cool.
are you what's his name? Captain Marvel, Shazam fan or anything?
I mean, look, I'll be honest. I do kind of like DC stuff a little more than I do Marvel stuff. I just think it's pretty cool and
Now,
epic.
is it the characters in universe? Is it the
Yes.
okay?
And what else?
Well, I was gonna because one of my things I like DC more better myself too. I've the main Marvel characters never really did it for me. The whole like they're flawed heroes and shit. Like the fact that they never get past certain like Spider-Man always fucking
Yeah.
annoyed me. Like the fact that
Yeah.
Peter Parker is perpetual loser. I'm like, he's got fucking superpowers and a model wife. Like, what is there like this that's holding this guy back? And then
Yeah.
it's just the writing. It's just the writing.
Yeah.
Uh, but in terms of like the properties they had, um, I always I always thought the Marvel movies were better, and I always thought the DC animation was better. And I was
Yeah.
just like constantly frustrated of seeing these like crap DC movies come out, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys, you literally have a whole catalog of shit you can just pull.
Well,
And
there were some good DC movies though.
which ones are your favorites?
I like the Shazam movie. The
It's all
Aquaman
right.
movie was great. I like that one.
I
Uh,
didn't really care for Aquaman.
I thought it was amazing. Um, I like the Wonder Woman movie. That was fucking dope.
Wonder Woman was good. Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't get through 84 though, but I liked the first one.
I didn't watch 84 either. But the first one was good. What else? Zack Snyder's Justice League was absolutely the piece de resistance.
I remember you really liking that one. I liked it too. I certainly was like head and shoulders above fucking the original Justice League movie they put out.
Well, the
Edited
Whedon
one.
cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can see like that's a hard sell for people to like have released into the theaters and everything. But yeah, I kind of
I wish they would release it like a special screening in IMAX theaters. I totally want to see it on IMAX.
yeah, they still might. I mean, Hollywood's running out of ideas. Why
Yeah.
not recycle content you already got done?
I guess so. What about the Flash movie? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I guess remains to be seen. I'm not a big Ezra Miller fan in general. I didn't think he was like bad as the Flash.
Yeah.
Sure, there's all this controversy. I know people are like, oh, what are they going to do about it? It's like, what would you do if you just put $100 million into a fucking movie and it's done, and then your main actor goes off and does a crazy shit? You just denounce him and put out the movie and say, moving forward, we're not working with Ezra Miller. That's the only thing I think they could do. It's like you can't just shit can that.
Yeah.
At least I don't think. Well, you could, I guess, but you'll be eating a huge fucking bill.
You'll
And
be
not to
eating a
mention
huge fucking turd.
he's already a core part of it, and it's part of them building like the Flash franchise of
Yeah,
sorts, you know. And I'm sure like they also threw in other characters. God knows what their contracts were. They can't just like cancel it because they'll eat more shit from them. I mean, look what happened with Scarlett Johansson and the
oh
Black
yeah,
Widow
Disney.
movie where she sued
Yeah,
Disney because they went like straight to streaming or something. Like they skipped over some part of it, or it wasn't in theaters long enough. I forget what the stipulation was, but like she took him through the shit, and you know it was her right to do it. It was in the contract and all
yeah.
that. What other things are in there that we aren't privy to that DC could get or Warner Brothers could get reamed out for? Um, so you like those movies? What do you think about? Did you ever see Green Lantern?
I did not. No,
Okay.
I saw what I saw was the animated Green Lantern First Flight,
I
which I
don't think
thought was.
I
I
don't know
don't
if
know
I
why
saw
they
it or not.
didn't. Oh, dude, it's so good. I don't know why they didn't just copy off that one.
So much of the time, man. So much of the time, I'm like, why didn't you just take the episodes that were already done for you over here and animation? Pretty much you have a cinematic storyboard ready to go.
Yeah,
All you have to do is make little edits here and there, and
maybe
it's
it's like
set.
a contract thing. I don't know. Maybe it's like they can't do that because then the animator is gonna, or the director of that animation is gonna be like, I deserve some royalties, and they'll kick up a stink or something. Maybe that's
Maybe,
what it is.
maybe. Um, but yeah, I always found the Marvel animated series sucked. Didn't
Yeah.
like them. Didn't enjoy them.
Well, I would know because I worked on one of them at one point. They really
And
do suck. So
yeah, I was just like, man, why can't they just get their shit together? All this, but yeah. DC was always the one I was rooting for more.
yeah. Well, I mean, we had a few good Batman movies. So
Yeah, that's the kind of the one that they get consistently good. I even kind of like the I
the
told you
the
like
Joe
about
Schumacher ones.
no I even like the Ben Affleck
Oh yeah,
Batman.
yeah.
I like the fact that he's more hardcore. I want a Batman that kills. I know everyone's like Batman doesn't kill. Yes, he does. Yes, he
No, he
does.
doesn't. No, he
Go
doesn't.
back to the original Detective Comics and everything, and
Well, no,
Batman's
that.
packing heat
Yeah, I
and
know
he shoots
Batman's got a
people up.
gun, but
Yeah,
that I don't like that. It's like it's such a get out of jail free card. You know
he's
what
a
I
normal
mean?
dude, man. You want
Shoots
that get out
people.
of jail free card.
He's not a normal dude. He's like that was the cool thing about Batman is that he didn't need a gun. He was so fucking awesome. He could just
Mm.
use some shuriken like a fucking ninja. It was dope. Maybe Batman needs a sword, like a bat sword. I've long advocated for a bat sword, but
Did you did you see the Batman animated thing where they had like Japanese like anime guys do their own version of a Batman story?
yeah,
Yeah, I really dig that. And they did have the one where like he swore off like a electromagnetic pulse
yeah,
diversion technology.
for
Yeah,
like
so
for like
I like that they played with that. Like I don't know if I've seen any American Story where they had that as an element or not. I don't know whether that was original
hmm,
to that animation property, but like that was a cool notion that they had on it.
yeah,
Um, but I dig that whole. I forget what that was. It was like four like 20-minute episodes or something thrown into one thing, but it was all supposed to be like kind of from the same Batman thing.
yeah. No, it was because Warner Brothers they did the same thing for the Matrix with the Animatrix.
Yeah.
Like Warner Brothers is like, well, these Japanese people are popular. We need to get the kids into this, so let's talk to the Japanese people, and they'll make the animes, and then we'll get to make some money.
Yeah. Um. Anything else you got, dude?
Oh my god!
I'm out of steam. Out of steam.
What do you mean? The Queen died. There's
Yeah,
all
but
these other fucking shows.
I'm not a British person. What?
All right. I mean, well, let's talk about that. Ask me questions, and I'll try to answer them.
Do you think that this you said it felt like it was death of the fantasy genre to me earlier.
Yeah.
Um,
When I was
di-
informing you that the Queen had died.
yeah, yeah, and you actually filled me in on that. That was literally
Yeah.
the first I heard of it, and I was like, wait, what? Like I totally thought something would be blowing up somewhere. I would have seen it before then.
Well, there's
Um,
the old legend that I think it's when the swans, or is it the crows, that hang out at one of the battlements at Buckingham Palace or something. Uh, when they are either killed or they fly away, then that's the end of of you know the British or something. And
hmm.
somehow it's tied into the death of the Queen. Like, I don't know. Kind of like that rock in Japan that was containing a evil spirit,
Yeah, and it broke.
and it broke. The spirit was just like, now's my time to shine, baby. So now it's my time. Been in that rock forever, and I gotta stretch my legs. That's what he said. That's how he said it.
I'm
Anyway,
sure.
we're coming up to an hour. Do you have any more questions about the Queen?
Um, that was the Queen a big deal in Australia?
Yeah, because Australia is still part of the Commonwealth. She's also kind of a big deal in Canada as well. The thing
Hmm.
that I'm interested in wanting to know, Lucius, is that now that the Queen Elizabeth is dead and now King Charles is in charge. Charles in charge. Hey, uh, I'm wondering if that means that all of the currency, the Queen's head on the currency, is going to have to be changed.
Probably not. It'd probably be like a legacy thing. They'll make a new
Well, no,
denomination,
I
or
think they have to make whatever the currency is, because they would always change over the years as the Queen aged. They would always like take a photo of her profile portrait to then
mm,
transfer it to the coinage, right?
uh-huh.
The on the coin on one side is the number of how much it is, and on the other side is always the Queen's face. So now that Charles is the king, does that mean that now his face is going to be on all the coinage, and do they have to recall all the coinage, or are they going to slowly like phase it out? These are the questions that keep me up at night, Lucius.
I don't think there'll be recall. I think they'll phase it out. People collecting it. I had a more macabre answer.
What was that?
Why? Well, they'll just have the decaying queen's corpse
Oh,
on the
like a
coin.
skull? That's hilarious.
Eventually, yeah. You
Okay.
know,
I
um,
know they'll do a ceremonial like centenary like momentary coin like marking the time of a death, right? Like a what do you sentimental coin, something, you know? They'll
mhm.
definitely do that. That'll be like a special coin that all those poor people who are like, oh, I love the Queen. She is so amazing. I live for her. They'll be like buying that.
Oh, the commemorative
Commemorative,
crap.
yes.
Hmm.
Yes. That. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, they've been cashing in on her this whole time. They'll make more. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Not to say she isn't like a part of the culture and everything. She's been there. She's been in rule for a lifetime. She's been
70
there for about
years, dude.
100 years. Yeah.
70
So
years.
yeah, but she was 96 when she died. Man, she's been with us for a
It's like
century. But yeah, a whole
almost gonna
lifetime.
say nice, but then I was like, oh, that's like the reverse of 69.
I mean, it could kind of work, kind of, just not in
What?
a numerical fashion.
I guess so. Well, at least she's with her husband now.
That's true. Yeah.
So I guess we all kind of knew like she wasn't long after
Oh
Philip
no, when
died.
she was diagnosed with COVID, I was like, oh Jesus, here we go,
Well, no, it's
here
like
we go.
Philip died, right?
Hmm.
And then it's like how long ago was that? That was like this year.
Fairly recent. I don't remember when.
I think it was like at the
Past
beginning
year
of
or
the year.
two. Yeah.
And yeah, so she hung in there for like 6 months after that. So that's pretty good. Most times when one member of a partnership dies, like a loving
Not much
partnership,
longer. Yeah.
yeah, the other one tends to go soon after. So
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a sad day. Sad day.
yeah. I would say so. It is. It is a loss. It was kind of a shitty answer or shitty thing I gave there with the coin. I wasn't gonna do it, but
But you went ahead and did it anyway,
I did
Lucius.
it
And
anyway. Yeah, that's right.
now you will be
I'm an
cursed
asshole.
forever. It will be the Queen's curse.
I'm an
No
asshole.
money.
Yeah.
No money will
Uh,
come to you anymore.
who knows? God, I'll be the first victim of the curse. Anyways, sorry if the show dragged on to you little
No.
watchers
Wilson, why are you
viewers.
apologizing to me?
To you, you're the only one watching
I'm
this.
the only other person here, Lucius. I don't know what else. Who else you would be talking
I don't know.
to.
I feel like I felt like I had more in the can. I was like, an hour, fill that up, no problem. Maybe a week off. It just made me a little rusty. A
Maybe,
little.
but I like how now the Queen has died.
Uh,
There's like these funny videos like this.
oh shit! What we got?
Top 10 things that will happen when the Queen Elizabeth dies, and it's
Holy fuck!
and like Big Ben is like exploding. So I don't know. It's weird. Everyone's getting on it. Look! This one. The Big Ben's just falling over. The world is ending. No, the Queen's died.
Well,
Oh,
on those ones that are like trying to predict what will happen, we can see how much of it is true. Like how many of the 10 things will happen in the coming days.
yes. So.
Man, everyone's using the same photo.
It's the same photo of it being dead.
Well, no, she just had her eyes shut. I don't know who the dude was, but yeah, I that's what I jacked, and I just threw some white gloves over it and blended it in. I was trying to go for the Freddie Mercury Bohemian Rhapsody look. Yeah, but it's funny that everyone else is using the same shot.
So you're a trend chaser, not a trend maker.
I didn't look up anybody's shit. I was trying to get it done through AI art, and it was failing me tremendously. I was getting more like Freddie Mercury than the Queen. Like I was literally typing it out, like the Queen posed and like as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Made it about. You should have prompted it to render Elizabeth Hurley.
Ooh, yeah.
Queen Elizabeth, both named Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth Hurley. Yeah. Yeah, except that I don't know how I'd tie that to her passing away.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to look for, the easy out. So then I went for the second easiest out, which is taking a photo and just doing a little slapdash edit on it. And that's what I did. So that was the closest thing. I looked up Queen with her eyes shut, and that was like first result.
All right.
Well,
that's all you can do.
Yeah, that's all I did.
All right. Well, we made it.
Yes. Anything you want to plug before we
No, nothing. I talk about that shit all day, and I'm just here to just relax.
This is Lucius signing off at Jaw Smashers on Twitter.
This is Luke signing off. I have no social media.
Stay fresh, guys.